alongside, yeah, alongside the lovely wife, Isha Mathis, and we have some other couples. So tonight is very interesting. We're getting ready for the B1 experience in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we wanted to come on tonight to talk to you about couples investing. I know it's the day before Valentine's Day, so a lot of you all are feeling the love in the air. So we definitely want to talk about, investing.
Okay.
One business partner of mine once told me that if your friends, your loved ones are not writing you checks, are not helping you to get to the bag and make money, they're really not your friends. They're really not your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? So when I first heard that, I was like, wow, that's interesting. That's a pretty profound thing because if you love somebody, you're going to help them grow and you're going to help them to ensure that they have money to support their livelihood. So today we have couples. So we're going to allow the couples to introduce themselves shortly. Are we waiting on your wife? What's the gentleman that just came in, Kenny?
Yes.
Okay, is your wife joining you or?
Yes, she's right here. She'll be here in about 10 seconds.
Okay, good, good. So we'll start with the lovely Isha Mathis. I'm Rick Mathis, the filmmaker. My thing is film, arts, creation. And this is the brain, the business lady behind the magic that you see.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I am Isha Mathis, a business strategist, financial educator. In short, I help to empower families to secure their legacy for generations.
Good. So she does the business structuring. So she makes sure you're structured properly. So Joel and Ms. Wilson, y'all can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lisa Melvin. I am Joel's fiance. We are Joel founded an investment group here in Philadelphia about 5 years ago now called IB Big, and we've just been growing wealth since that time. And looking forward to B1 experience.
Awesome, awesome. And then we'll go to the VIX.
And do you?
Oh,
yeah, did you
Joel.
want to go, Joel?
Okay. I apologize, Joel. Go ahead. I apologize.
Not a problem, not a problem. So I'm Joel Wilson, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I own a tech firm, JCW Computer Consulting. From that, I founded a tech STEM nonprofit to teach kids coding. And in the investment club world, I've been trying to do an investment club successfully since I was a college student. And that's like 30 years ago. And I will admit that I think that the missing ingredient was that I didn't have the right woman with me until now. So I was able to get IBB to where it is now.
Awesome. Thank you. So now we'll go to the VIX. I was a little too fast. Let me slow down and gather myself.
You want to go first? Or you want me?
Oh, you can go.
So my name is Kahan Vix. I have I guess a similar story to Joel. I was trying to do an investment club also, for years, and I've always been like a big proponent of like investing together, group investing. So, early in my life, I've done like investments with like my friends in real estate. We've done like business together. We have like me and my friends still. We have some business ventures going today, and I'm a government employee, and Joel's brother works with me. And just from me talking a lot about like group investing and stuff at work, even he mentioned the IB Big investment group to me. So that's how I ended up meeting Joel and Lisa. So I've been a member for about 4 years in the group, and my wife recently joined. It's my wife Callie. So,
Hey everyone, Alejandra, Rick, Callie, everybody call me Callie for short. I own a cleaning business. I'm a realtor in Philadelphia. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm also a part of the investment club. Kahan and I have been together 13 years, married 7, a 12-year-old daughter. Yeah.
Awesome. We're glad to have you all. And now we will go to Kenny. What is your wife's name? I don't see her name on
All
the
right, it's not there. I'm sorry. This is my computer. Her
Okay.
computer's downstairs. I'm kidding. This is my wife, Stephanie. I'll let her tell you about herself first. Go ahead.
Okay, hello, everyone.
Greetings.
Stephanie Branch. Ken and I have been married this year will be 40 years. And
Wow.
we've been investing for a very long time. I have a background in pharmaceuticals. I'm in the research and development side of clinical research. And through the years, my pharmaceutical bonuses have been used wisely as we've gone through different opportunities through the years.
Awesome.
The last 8 years or so, I've been an independent consultant. And so I have my own LLC and contract my services out, heading towards retirement soon.
Awesome. Good, good. And you, Kennedy? Kenny?
I'm Kenny. Yes, I'm Kenny. I'm Joel's cousin. So I've known him all of his life. I have an extensive background in a bunch of different things. We started real estate investing back in '97. I got my real estate license and started doing mortgages. So I'm a licensed real estate broker, licensed mortgage broker. Um, uh, Also, we invested in a bunch of properties. I owned a convenience store and a gas station, the car wash, and worked in banking for about 20 years, where I was a branch manager, and licensed and got licensed as an investment advisor, uh, insurance agent, tax preparer. Anything in regards to personal finances, I've been pretty much doing it as a professional, as a profession. So that's pretty much where I am.
Understood. That's great. That's great. So it's safe to say everybody here has some sort of an entrepreneurship background, which is great. And I really like that. So the rules of engagement tonight, we're going to have a roundtable discussion that deals with couples investing. And I want to just kind of throw a couple of questions out there to get the conversation started. If you want to chime in and say something, you can raise your hand if a person is talking. You just go to the reactions right there and hit the button, and that will notify us that you have something to say. So it's down at the bottom to the right. It says reaction next to the apps and their recordings. So the first question I just kind of want to put out on the table is investing as a couple, investing as a group. Like, what do you all see as some of the benefits? And like, what would you share with other people who may say that, man, I don't need to invest as a group, or I don't need to invest as a couple. I just, put my money over here in the stock market and I'm good. So what are like some benefits? And you can share like real life stories and things like that that you've seen and that you've experienced from investing as a couple.
Well, I'll jump in and start.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, when we first started in real estate, we weren't exactly sure where we wanted to go with it, but we did know that it was going to be an avenue to increasing our wealth. And so the first property we bought was actually the one that I grew up in. We bought it, from my dad, and rehabbed it, and actually I think it was before '92. But
It was around 95.
yeah, so it was an interesting experience. But as we got into real estate, my husband has always been the visionary, and I remember we sat down and mapped out that he was saying, well, if we have X number of properties every year, every 2 years, just keep adding on, adding on. He acknowledged that, one day we'll actually have enough wealth to be able to say we, targeted 1 million. And I thought that was such a far stretch. And when that actually took place and he showed me on paper, I thought, oh, didn't realize that really was possible. And so we've benefited from it in terms of being able to enjoy, nice houses, nice cars, being able to, we're both Christians, being able to, give to church, just things that we can do. And we've definitely had our fair share of people along the way who have asked, can we borrow some money? And, we've learned just give it without the expectation of getting it back. But the fact that we've been able to do that has always been a nice gesture that, we're able to help family and friends when things come up. So I've just enjoyed being able to be in that space. And then Kenny mentioned we had a gas station convenience store that was down in North Carolina at the beach. And so we would have family and friends come visit and basically take their vacation at our house because they were across the street from the ocean and enjoyed it. So we've been able to just share what we've had with family and friends. So I've enjoyed that through the years.
And that's beautiful. I want to commend you on being able to purchase a property that you lived in or you were raised in. I know that's a very special moment. I always look at, properties. I was born in South Georgia, and my mom moved us to Atlanta when I was 14. But I now keep my eyes on properties down there that I had the opportunity to live in to actually purchase. And that's a real special thing when you can do that. Anybody else want to chime in? I was glad you all went first because you've been married for 40 years and, you are the most seasoned couple on this live tonight. So I'm glad that you actually started.
I just wanted to also chime in. When we first started, Steph wasn't on board at all. So I had to get her on board to my vision. And that was a little challenging, but she finally did come around when she seen how the fruits of the labor were beginning to pan out.
How long did that take for her to come around?
Probably about 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I quit my job. I had a good job working in engineering. And I came home and told her I was quitting my job, and she wasn't too happy about that. So, and I laid out my vision, and it wasn't as clear and concise as it maybe should have been, but I had an idea where I wanted to go. So it took her a little while to come on board, but once she actually saw that we were progressing and things were beginning to fall in place, she jumped in with both feet.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else want to chime in on that question?
I just wanted to make a comment on the group investing.
Okay.
And some of the benefits from that. One of the things we found, we've been doing this, like this is our 5th year. There's a lot more intelligence when the group debates about how they're going to invest their money. You get way better decisions. You have some folks are naturally big risk takers. Other folks are naturally, a risk averse. And you have folks in the middle. But when you have all these folks come together and they debate it out, and at the end result is just much better stock picking. I've learned this just personally because I'm more of a risk taker. And so I've had a chance to look at, okay, my style of buying stock over the last 5 years versus what the group has done that has been more diligent and looking at, what's the balance sheet say and all that kind of stuff. the group has been more right than I've been. So I've been, I've learned. And another lesson, we invested as a group into two small businesses, two Black-owned small businesses, and it didn't go the way we wanted. I'll say it like that. But by us collectively doing it, we didn't take a real hard hit as if you would have done it yourself. So I reflected back on that and said, wow, this is really powerful. And the sort of pullback we experienced in the portfolio, in less than 2 months, we more or less gained it back because our stock portfolio is so strong. So I just see those are some great benefits. And so now I'm using tools to predict out. So I can tell from what we bring in every month in contributions, the rate of returns for the past years, and then the growth that we have. We're bringing in about 2 new partners a month. How long it now takes for us to get to a $500,000 portfolio, how long it takes to get to $1 million portfolio. So, I think that gives you that increased capacity that is just a lot harder to do if you're, by yourself and maybe just 2 people.
Good. That's great. That's great. So again, I'm Dr. Rick Mathis. Tonight, we're having a conversation around couples investing for the B1 experience, which will be taking place on the 23rd and the 24th in Philadelphia. So get your tickets right now. I think the information for the tickets is actually in the chat, right? Have you put it in there, Joel?
Yes.
So the information for the tickets is actually in the chat. Now, I actually want to lay the foundation or the groundwork, if you will, for investing. I know one of the things that I really appreciate from Isha is when she came into my life, she said that it's important that you be structured properly. And those were the words that she used. So if you could share, Isha, some insight on what that means, like some suggestions, if you're going and you're investing as a couple, as a group, how should you be structured? What's the proper way of being structured?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, I just want to speak to the last question a little bit, just kind of about what that cohesive decision-making strategy is like for couples. When we think about corporate elite families, right, we think about the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, all of those families. Usually when you refer to them as a family unit. It's very rare that you refer to them as individuals. So we both, you and I, were of like mind, and we knew that we wanted to invest together. We wanted to invest as a family. And so we just began to kind of put some of those things in place for us. And, it reminds me of that whole 2 heads is better than one. For us women, we have a wider peripheral vision, right? And men are tunnel vision. And so us together allows us to see a whole complete picture. And so that makes us better investors. It helps us to create a better financial strategy. So in regards to being structured properly, one of the things that we do, or we tend to do when we jump to investing, we don't think about the tax implications. And we don't make a tax strategy part of our investment strategy.
Yeah.
Right. And so going into investing, I recommend that every couple, first, you come up with a tax strategy for your family and for your business. And then use that strategy to help guide your financial and your investing decisions. So when we talk about being structured properly, one, deciding how are you making those investments? Are you making those investments through your business? Are you making those investments through your for-profit charitable organization? Are you making that through your family trust? Are you making that from your business trust? And again, in order to decide what's the proper vehicle to use to make those investments, it's all dependent on your tax strategy. Right? So being structured properly is critically important. And the second, of course, is having a great tax strategy for your investment plan.
Good. Any comments on that?
Yeah, the tax strategy is vital in deciding on how you're gonna um, structure yourself or your family or your business because tax implications can be severe if you don't lay the groundwork and lay out a plan. And there are some extremely great tax benefits in this country that Uncle Sam has given us to strategize with and to benefit from.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just understanding what the tax implications are for the vehicle that you are using to make your investments. It may not always be the best option to make those investments personally.
Right.
Right. You know, one of the strategies that we utilize is we have a tax exempt entity that we use for certain investments. So that way we're able to help mitigate some of the things like capital gains tax and things like that. And so again, being structured properly and having the right vehicles to help you to mitigate a lot of the tax implications is critical.
Mm-hmm. So the VIX have their hand raised. No, someone wanted.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to speak to the question you asked about investing together.
Okay.
I think for me it's just about you can actually do like more with less. I feel like, you know, some people they think investing is like once they take care of their bills and whatever, then they can do with the extra. But I think when you do things as a group, like for example, in our group, you can be involved for like $50 a month. And I think that, you know, the more people we have, it's like now we can actually do bigger things. So there's been times where we've talked about some big projects or things that we can get involved in that, you know, it probably would take you years to get there as an individual person. Whereas like with us, because we're doing it in a group, we might be there maybe a year and a half, as opposed to like the normal route of it, maybe taking 4 or 5 years for an individual person. And also I think too, like when you're working in a group and you kind of have like those common goals, there's like the network. So I feel like sometimes in our community, like Black people tend to have this like individual like mindset to me. But then what I took from the group also is that even for me, for my like individual endeavors and goals, there's people within the group that typically can give assistance to me for like my personal things that I want to do. And because we have like working together already as a group, they're more incentivized to help me in my personal endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else that I feel like too is like the strength of working in a group where, you know, if I want to buy a home, there's people like in the group that are like realtors and mortgage people, or, you know, if I want to do, you know, start a business, there's people with like typically within the group that can help me with finding a lawyer or teaching me about how to structure the business and things like that. So I think that's another good part of being in a group is that you get that
Information.
network, like that community,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Information and knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a key point. You know, because you have a group of people that's working towards the same goal. So now you're gonna have more information, more knowledge, and you're gonna have more brains, more brain power. I know you all had your hand raised, Lisa and Joel.
Actually, it's to the same point, but I'm thinking more as individuals in a couple working together. You know, it's just like to me, you're stronger together, and it's almost like a partnership rather than having, you know, he out there doing investing on his own, and I don't know anything about it, or I'm doing investing on my own, and he doesn't know anything about it. We can bring that together, and you're just grow together as in a partnership, you know, and not being separate. We all know that finances are a big deal within marriages, and finances can break up a marriage. So, you know, it is good when you're working together.
Mm-hmm. They do say that marriage is a business. So you have to look at it that way. So we've heard about, you know, some of the headaches. What have been some of the wins though with IBB investment, you know, with you all taking that $50 and being disciplined to invest that $50 a month in something and do it with a group of people that, you're seeing win together and experience that.
I think of three real quick.
Okay.
The first one is when Elon Musk started talking about he wanted to buy Twitter, we had a lot of shares in Twitter. So he cashed out and we cashed out. So
so y'all actually sold it when he bought it?
Well, you were forced to.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were forced to. So anyone who owns stock, he bought them all out.
Wow. Okay.
So, so that's number one. So if you follow crypto, Ethereum, we started jumping in at $370. And I know a lot of partners in the group actually bought personally and the group bought. So, Ethereum right now is about $2,000. It's hovering around there. And then Bitcoin, regrettably, we weren't in the first wave because we just started in 2019. So we started buying like 2020. And we, to this day, we dollar cost average into Bitcoin we buy every month. So it's in a nice little tear right now. It hit 50 grand yesterday. Wow. So, so we're in that. So those are three good wins in our crypto. We're probably between 50 and 60,000 in our crypto portion in our portfolio. So those are three good wins. I don't know if anyone else has anything else.
I just want a little add on there, and see what happens when you do it on your own. I invested in crypto having no idea what I was doing. If I would have did it in a group, I would may have had some success, but I did it out on my own and lost a bunch of money real quick, real fast, and still haven't recovered from that.
Wow.
So that and so I sometimes I tend to be a lone wolf, but I'm learning.
Yeah, good.
There's some counseling with a bunch of people around. So
So that's been a benefit, just having that counseling as a group from the
yeah,
individuals in a group.
yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing to point out, because you have that group, you can bounce these ideas off of, each other and suggestions. We're all working towards leaving a legacy for our family. And what are some things that you are doing to that can be done to ensure that, this estate doesn't end up in a probate, where, or it doesn't have to, go through that, where it's at, what, a 40% tax is what it is when you inheritance tax? So what are some things that you're doing to kind of prevent losing 40% of that estate? Because if you have, $100 and it's, it ends up in probate or there's an inheritance tax, that's $40 that's taken away from every $100. That's a lot of money. So what are some things that, you all are doing, some preventative measures on that?
So, Rick, I will say as a group, this is probably an area we're going to have to learn a little bit more on what we need to do. Lisa and I just had a conversation the other day that we need to tighten up just on beneficiaries, because we do have some older members in the group, and now we have a new membership for seniors. So, not trying to wish anything negative on anyone, but the higher you are up in age, the more realistic that something could happen and someone could expire. So this is an area we have to tighten up. And I believe there's an incredible woman named Isha Mathis who's going to be at the event on the 23rd and 24th sharing some information. So we're going to have our pens and paper.
So you want to share, Isha?
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's that woman? Who's gonna be there? But yes, there are definitely some asset protection vehicles that can be put in place to help secure your legacy, to make sure that it's passed from generation to generation. You know, that's one of the largest kind of depleters of wealth, is not only the inheritance tax, but when you think about when an estate goes into probate, you have lawyer fees, you have the court fees, you have all of the things associated with just getting the estate through the probate process. And so the statistic says that 3/4 of wealth is depleted in the estate process, the probate process. And that's unbelievable, to think that everything that you spent your life working, you know, 2/3 can go to the state and federal government in taxes,
66.
and not to your children, and not to your beneficiaries. Forbes just put out an article about a month ago, and it said that as old billionaires are transitioning, the new billionaires that will arise over the next 10 years are primarily from inheritance, not from business, not from investing, but from inheritance. So that lets me know that we are becoming more conscious and aware about being structured properly, and making sure that we have those vehicles in place to pass generational wealth.
Excellent. I think you had something, Kenny?
Yes. The quick and dirty way to pass on wealth is number one, is that most people don't do, especially in a Black community. It's very simple. It's just to have a will. With a will, you eliminate a lot of things. Most Blacks aren't going to be subject to inheritance tax, because you have to make a good bit of money to be subject to inheritance tax. But also, if you're fortunate enough to have some wealth, the best thing to do is have the trust set aside. And with trust, you can pass that money along freely, and without any inheritance tax, without any probate. So we had to learn about trust and how to go about setting up trust.
Mm-hmm. And I will just add to that not all trusts are equal.
Right, correct.
Not all trusts will allow you to pass wealth from one generation to the next without it going into probate or without inheritance tax. And so you're absolutely correct in regards to the will. Your will is for everything that you have in your name, in your personal name. Right. And you want to create a structure, whether it's a trust, and we'll dig into the different types of trust in the event in Philly, but you want to have a trust for everything else, right?
Right.
So the will, excuse me, did it knock me off video?
No,
okay.
There.
So your will cover everything that is in your name personally, and your trust, hopefully you guys are living within your trust and doing investments from those trust structures. And again, we'll dig into the different types of structures at the end of this month.
Good. Anybody else want to chime in? Things that you all are doing to, prevent that estate from ending
I'll
up?
just say I know these things. I mean, I've met like with a lawyer to discuss like trust and things. I mean, she had stated to us that we hadn't really reached the threshold yet that like maybe a trust would be required for us. But we do have to kind of get like the will and things in place. So I have, not just for me, but I've been trying to stress that to my family too. Because just, over the past couple of years, just like with COVID and different things, like I've seen people go through like that probate process and, have to basically spend a lot of money or sometimes end up losing things just in that process because they didn't even know like what kind of like vehicles they should have had to like protect it. Or sometimes the assumption of like, especially with property, like automatic assumption that like if my parents pass, the property automatically goes to us as children, like those types of things. And it's like, you know, not having like an actual designated person that it goes to, or the person just say, I'm leaving it to all five of y'all. And then they kind of had to go through that process, figuring that out. And I've seen people like lose property away, things like that. So yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, and that process, okay. And that process, just like the example that you use, is having a property, right, that's not in the proper vehicle. In order for it to be passed down, it would have to go into the probate process, you know, and, you know, the judges will decide whether that property needs to be sold or whether it can go to the beneficiaries if there are some things that you have in place. But I can tell you one thing that is for sure. Everybody on here and everybody in the sound of my voice is gonna die. Okay, we are all guaranteed that fate. And so I think it would be a mistake to not have a proper vehicle in place, because we just assume that we're all going to die of old age. And we're not guaranteed that. So as soon as you can, be structured properly, get the proper things put in place, whether it's a will, whether it's trust, whether it's foundations, whether it's a combination of those vehicles, whether it's LLCs, whether it's life insurance. Because one thing we don't do is look at insurance as a source of income for our estate. And we need to really change the perspective of how we look at insurance. So really getting the proper vehicles in place as soon as you can, but we're going to dig real deep into that in Philly.
Just one thing about insurance. Insurance is a vehicle that you can pass on wealth, and it is not taxable. Insurance money is not taxable. You can have $1 million policy, pass it on, it's tax-free.
Absolutely. So we need to start looking at insurance as a stream of income.
Absolutely.
For our legacies. Absolutely. It's not just, you know, something that we get if something happens. We need to look at it as secure income.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I heard, what's your name again? The VIX, what's your name again?
Kahan.
Oh, Kahan. So, so I just wanted to go back to something that you said. You said you spoke to an attorney about a trust, and he said that you were not at that point yet.
Well, yeah, it was a lady. But yeah, based on I guess the assets that we have or what we building, she said that at the point that we were at, like, I guess it did make sense for us to have a trust, but basically, like she said that we were working towards one, so she didn't want us to kind of like, you know, waste money getting the trust just based on like a lot of people screaming that online. But when we kind of sent her all our stuff or like what we had going on, she kind of gave us like the vehicle that we would need. So I just never followed up with her to actually like get it done.
Yeah.
You know.
So if you don't mind, I just want to ask, like, if God forbid something happened, you have something in place now that's going to prevent the probate and all of that?
No, I don't, because I didn't. I mean, she said at a base level we needed a will, and like for both of us, she said, and she said that at some point we probably would maybe get to like a living trust. She told me a few things. I forgot exactly what she said, but at a base level, she said that we kind of needed to like both of us at least have a will in place.
So see, and that's the thing, you know, and I'm speaking to you in love, and for the Black community. This is the type of counseling that we get, you know, get a will, get this, you know, everything but the proper structures, right? My financial advisor told me that a will is a wish, meaning that, yeah, I'm gonna let Isha speak to it.
You know, I'm tap me in, coach.
But we have this is the conversation that we're gonna have to have on the 23rd and the 24th, because we lose a lot of that wealth in the transfer of wealth. So I know you over there burning up, Isha. So
Uh,
you can speak to that situation with the attorney. I just wanted to circle.
yeah, I appreciate that. We call a will in our industry an engraved invitation to probate. It will almost guarantee you to go into probate. And so it's a few things that I want to address about the attorney situation. First of all, only you can assess your risk tolerance. Okay. And I remind my clients and the people that I'm associated with is your attorneys, your financial advisors, your CPAs, they work for you. Okay. They are to help you kind of execute some of the goals that you want, right? Oftentimes we go into attorneys and we allow them to tell us what's the best decision for us, when we should be saying, listen, this is what we're trying to do. You tell me, how does the law help me to do that? What vehicles, what entities do I need in place to help me facilitate that goal? Not them telling you what to do. How can they tell you that you're not at the position where you can protect what it is that you have been building your life working for?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's $1, it belongs to me. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that my beneficiaries get it. Okay, and so to say that I'm not at the level to which I need to protect my assets is asinine.
That's an understatement.
Okay, like, so again, we're gonna dig real deep into being structured properly. And another example of that would be just like starting an LLC. We go and start LLCs because we think that that's the best vehicle. You start a business, go start an LLC, not necessarily taking a look at what's your business strategy, right? What are you looking to do? Is this the best entity for what you're trying to accomplish within your business? We restructure companies all the time because they didn't start out with the proper structure. And an example of that would be Google. So when Google initially started, of course, they were a search engine company. They didn't really anticipate that they would get to bioengineering, artificial intelligence, robotics, insurance, all of the things that they're in. So it required them to restructure, right, and become Alphabet. So we restructure companies all the time because they didn't start out with the correct business structure. They just went with what somebody told them they should do. Right?
Yeah, another example would be the NFL. You know, they restructured and we did what they initially started out as, you know, the foundation.
Yeah, the NFL started as a foundation. They had a letter of acceptance of 501c3. So they were a tax exempt organization all the way through, I think, 2010. When they started to, because they had the letter of acceptance of 501c3, it required all of the board members to say how much they were making. And Roger Goodell did not want to publish how much he was making. And so they decided to restructure in order to kind of protect the privacy of the owners. Wow. So again, that's another example of an organization that wasn't really structured properly to help facilitate their long-term goals.
Yeah. A lot of times we don't know the differences between an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp. You know, you have to educate yourself to figure out which one is actually going to be the best for your needs.
Mm-hmm. And we're also providing some resources too. And again, I don't want to steal our thunder from the event later this month, but we're going to provide some resources and some courses, one, to help you understand the different structures, to help you make the best decision for what, you know, your long-term goals are.
Yeah, because that's really what it boils down to. Like, what are your long-term goals? You know, what do you, you know, want to see this money trickle down to or transition to? Because again, wealth is neither created nor destroyed, it simply transfers. So is it going to transfer into probate and estate and all of that? Or is it going to transfer into your family's estate and remain there? So, that's what's going to take place on February the 23rd and 24th as we assemble in Philadelphia for the B1 experience, where we're going to have these conversations and we're going to offer practical solutions, around these types of subjects. Because most times, we don't have these conversations until we're hit with it, until there's a death and you're stressed and you can't think clear. But we have to get to a point where we project and we have foresight and we make forecasts on where these things are going to happen and how this thing is going to unfold, because we've already sat down and we've had these meetings. One of the things in the B1 curriculum that we have, we go over the Constitution, but then, we have, instead of we the people, we have we the family, where we write our own Constitution and we actually have meetings and we have amendments and things like that, such as an investment group. So these are the this is where the rubber meets the road. And these are the type of conversations that we're going to have in order to transfer that 1.8, some of that $1.8 trillion, that trickles through our hands every year. And, we don't have things to catch it and to transfer it. So we have to put these things in place. We have to put these things in place. So again, we have the ticket information in the chat. It's taking place February 23rd and 24th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we have the Leon Sullivan Trust. You know what I'm saying? We have the Leon Sullivan Trust. You know what I mean? So therefore, that was a gentleman that transitioned, but he was thinking. And he was able to establish a vehicle so that that wealth that he had worked so hard to accumulate can be transferred to his family, to his estate. And we will have a place to assemble and have a conversation about wealth and money and Black business and entrepreneurship. Isn't that just amazing though? You know what I'm saying? And we have to do more of that. We have to do more of those type of things. So to transition a little, what are some things that we can invest in? Because we talked about, having the proper vehicle and having that proper foundation. But now what are some opportunities? What are some things that we can invest in right now after watching this video? What would you say would be a good investment, Joel?
So first thing I would say is I'm not an investment professional, so I give no advice. Right. I'm just having conversation. Some things may have an educational value, and I would encourage you to Google whatever I say.
We're just sharing what we invest in. We're not telling you what to invest in. We're sharing what we do.
One thing I would like to encourage people to look at. So I came out of college, 1992. I went straight into business, and within a year, I did buy a duplex. So I was saving my money. But in 1992, if I would have purchased $2,000 worth of Microsoft stock, which is MSFT, M like Mary, S like Sam, F like Frank, T like Tom. If I'd have bought that and never did anything else with it, forgot about it, woke up in 2024 and looked at it, it would be worth $394,000. Wow. And so the question that I'm asking folks, you're in my age or, somewhere in 1992, did you have $2,000? And if you did, would $394,000 benefit you right now? And this year, 2024, is 1992 to somebody. So I would just encourage folks to look at that stock. And something else to keep in mind, the year 2053 is when the majority of the economists predict Black wealth goes to zero. On average, Black wealth goes to zero. Now, the branches will be okay. But for the average Black person in this country, they are already predicting that our wealth is going to zero. And what are the things that we can do, that we have in our control? And we can't stop racism. We can't stop that. But let's look at, can we pull back some of the money that we may be spending on footwear? Can we reduce the bill we pay for cable TV? Can we reduce some of the money that we use on the weekends to hang out? Is there some place, Starbucks, do we have to keep buying it the way we do? Can we mix it up a little bit with YY, 7-Eleven, or make your coffee at home? But if you can pull back some money, $2,000 is not, that's not a huge number. Most of us right now can scrape together monthly in such a way that we could get that $2,000 so that we can be in the market. Microsoft's a great company. QQQ is another great, that's just an index fund. You'll span the market. It's like a built-in mutual fund. And there's a bunch of others. If you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/IBBig, go to our Instagram page, we share a lot of educational information. And for those folks who are like, hey, you know what? I really like what they're building in IBBig, reach out to us. We have a process for members. You can't just say you want to join and that's it. There's a process that you go through. You actually have to read a book. You have to read Miseducation of the Negro. One of the fastest ways to destroy anything in Black America is to have folks who are not on the same page. It will come to ruin. So we have a process, but we're always looking for good folks with integrity. You do not need to know anything about the stock market. You will learn, and you'll learn in a collective. If you happen to know a whole lot, that's great. Come and get down and help give us some leadership in that area. But it's so much more than just stock picking. It's building the proper culture, building the mindset. We're working together. Callie and Kahan, when we celebrated Lisa's birthday just a couple weeks ago, they are part of our family network. They were there. Cousin Kenny and Stephanie, they were there. So it's more than just being in a group. It's all these other intangibles go along with it, but the intangibles make it why it's possible to work. And we have to do this. Again, 2053, Google it, don't take my word, Black enterprise, almost every person that does any type of economic research on demographics in this country, it's a prediction. And so we have enough time to make a course correction. We see the meteor is coming to hit Earth. We can do something now to stop it from hitting us.
And that's what, 29 years away? Isn't that about 29 years away?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a long time. I remember, 25 years ago, and it flew by, like that. So yeah, these are the types of conversations that we have to have. We have to be disciplined enough to say that, hey, in 2053, we're gonna be a leader in this. We're gonna own this. We're gonna own the beauty shops, like the Black beauty shop that had to close in Philly. We're gonna own all of those because this is where we're gonna buy our products from. We have the power to say that now, and we can speak that and imagine that and create that, in the next 29 years. Imagination is one of our most powerful tools that we have. I'm sure that, Kenny, before you start investing and you said, let's do these real estate properties, you imagine that you saw yourself having X amount of properties.
And I want to go in elaborate just a little bit more. When you talk about an investment, I believe the best investment anyone can make is an investment in themselves, and through knowledge and education. But don't let that knowledge and education sit. Utilize it. Spread the word. Let it grow. and ferment and develop. Because when I started doing what I was doing, I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. I didn't know anyone who could I could give an ear to. So I had to try to figure out things by trial and error on my own. And but I did educate myself. So I had that going for me. I read a lot of books. And so about how to go about getting into the real estate market and investing in real estate. So, but educate yourself and the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, I just wanted to touch on the one issue or the elephant in the room with most Black people when you talk about investing. And you all know what that is. It's trust. So how have how have you been able to overcome that, the trust issue? And what are some things that we can continue to do to overcome the trust issue?
What do you mean by overcome the trust issue?
So if there is a trust issue and you're investing, you're saying, hey, I'm gonna give this guy $50 a month. I don't know who he is. What if he take my money and go down to and buy a new Cadillac with it? You know what I'm saying? Go buy a new Benz with it. You know what I'm saying? So what are you like? What made you invest? It wasn't the fact that he's your cousin and you know him, because I know cousins that have trust issues. It wasn't the fact that your brother worked with his brother and you were investing. What was the thing that allowed you to get over that hurdle to say, hey, trust is not an issue? This situation, this mission is bigger than this small molehill of trust that we have. So I'm going to invest, and I'm going to invest faithfully and religiously every month to IBB Investments, because I see the vision and I know what it stands for and what it can do for my community.
So I'll just say something really quick. With our investment group, we are very transparent. We use a online portal that everyone has access. All the members, you have access to this. You can log in at any time, and you can see what our stocks have been doing. You can see everybody's balance, what your money is. So it's very, very transparent. The moment that you become a member, you get access to that. So that is one way that I think that it has helped to build trust. You know exactly where your money is going every month. All of our bank statements, everything is posted on this portal. So we're just extremely transparent.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I was going to speak
build trust.
Yeah, I was going to speak the same thing on the clarity in the group. And also, like Joel say, it's a process to even become a part of the group. We're very selective. We don't want anybody. You got to have to be, the same mindset and wanted to collab and, support the group. Like, because that's the goal, to grow together as a group and individually. We collab with each other. We all business owners, so we support each other on a personal level as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like my spiritual dad, Mr. Les Brown, say, OQP, only quality people is what you are looking for. Only quality people. So when you get that group of quality people, you have the same mindset, it's no limits to where you could go. Like you could go.
It's like a family vibe, like a tribe.
Yeah.
So it really recognize each other because we all we have the same goal and the same aim.
Yeah. And I just want to point out really quick for anybody that might be watching the live, it's not like it's all couples. Individuals are a part of the group as well. So don't think you have to be a couple.
We're just doing this for Valentine's. This is pre-Valentine's. So you're right. That is a good point, though. You can be individual and become part of IBB Investment Group. But we're just better to do it as a family, as a group.
If I can just piggyback really quick, first of all, I just want to commend Lisa and Joel and the whole IB Big Investment Group. One, for what you're doing for our community. So the question came up, how do we overcome the mistrust? And I think the first way is by education. So I commend you for what you're doing, because it's not all about just bring your money and let us invest it. You guys are actually educating our people. So that's the first thing, education, open dialogue. I have had, even in my industry, people that look like me say, I want to talk to the white man that owned the company. And again, that kind of speaks to that mistrust of our people. And so I appreciate what you guys are doing. So education is the first thing. And like you said, transparency. We Black folks, we like results. And just showing what you guys are doing and how those investment funds are growing and are multiplying, and how you guys are structuring real legacy, leaving money, leaving real wealth for your families. I think those are the two ways: education and transparency.
One thing.
Sure.
So one of the things that I've thought about, just like, why have we been successful? This is, I think, my 4th or 5th attempt at an investment club. And I think the key ingredient, really, like, none of this would work if we did not start with integrity. Because the folks who started the investment club, when people looked at them, they said, those are folks we can trust. And the folks who the trust has been given to, they have taken that responsibility and not abused it. And regrettably, there's too many things in our community that hasn't happened. They feel abused. So, I know I personally take that very seriously. And, prayerfully, I try to stay as connected as my human self will allow me to be to a higher, create my creator, and try to make good decisions. My mother is still alive. And the last thing I want is for anyone to say something, do you know what your son did? So,
Got to protect that family name, Joe.
Exactly.
Exactly, man. So I definitely want to commend you, man, for not giving up. You said this is your 4th or 5th attempt at an investment club.
Yes.
And, so you had to fail your way forward. So each time, you attempted to build one, or you built one now that is, doing well, and you're getting investors, but you actually failed your way forward, so I definitely want to commend you for having the vision, having the foresight to do that, and the discipline, and and that strength, because it takes strength to get up and do something again when you fail. You know what I'm saying? People making fun. I told you that wasn't gonna work. You trying to get these Negroes to invest? Hey, you crazy. You wasting your time. I know, because I'm a visionary. And, when I produced Black Friday, oh, you producing a documentary called Black Friday? Why you chose Black Friday? So you hear all of these. So, you know what I'm saying? So I learned to start keeping certain things to myself until it actually flourished and people see it, and then they can believe in it, because you have to keep those dreams, those aspirations, those ideas in these incubators, because everybody can't see it when you see it.
Right.
But once it starts to come to fruition, then they can say, oh, okay, I see that now. Okay, I get it. And then it happens. So, this is what we're talking about. We're going to give you motivation. We're going to give you inspiration on the 23rd and the 24th of February at the B1 Experience, because we're going to talk about our wins, but we're also going to talk about our challenges and things that we had to overcome to get to this position. Because you don't just wake up and be successful. I'm sure you all had to go through so many trials, with the gas station, with real estate. You had your bumps and bruises with it, but you persevered, you kept going, because you know what? If you would have quit at the point where you ran into a situation, you would forego all the sacrifices you had made, all the money that you had invested in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't quit, because you have a family, you have loved ones that you want to leave these things to, and you want to set them up in a better position so they don't have to start from ground zero, like I'm sure many of us had to do. You want to leave them something to build on. So when they walk in, when their kids walk into the house in the foyer area, they're gonna have a bus. They're gonna have a picture of you hanging on the wall and say, this is grandma and grandpa. They are the reason we can live like this. You know what I'm saying? They are the reason they made sacrifices for us to be in this position. And that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? That means a lot, man. So what I want to do, before we wrap up is just allow each one of us to have like some closing comments, man, on why people need to take time out of their busy schedule and to be there on Friday as well as Saturday. Not just one day. You need to come both days and get the full spectrum of what's taking place at the B1 experience. So anybody, y'all can go first. Whoever wants to go first and lead off, just with some closing remarks on why you're going to be there and why, they should take time out of their busy schedule to be there.
I'll start. Growing up in the Black community, we don't get a lot of education and a lot of experience learning how to deal with things like wealth, building wealth, how to manage our finances, and how to go about getting past the traps of what we call in the Black community, the crab mentality. This is going to be, I believe, so beneficial to disperging those myths, giving people insight to that it's possible. Because we don't even, in our community, we don't even believe it's possible. I run across so many Black people who say, well, a Black person can't do that. Well, a Black person, I'm like, no, trust me, a Black person can. And so we want to just be able to talk to people and let them know that it's possible and so that way they're able to develop a vision for themselves and a dream for themselves, because the Bible says with the lack of vision, the people perish. And if you don't have a dream, there's nothing you can do. So you got to start with a dream, and this is going to lay down the foundation to help build and develop that dream.
Your closing comments? Yeah.
Of me? Okay. I will say that there is a huge disparity of information concerning wealth in our community. I say often that there is two types of families in this country. That's the informed family and the uninformed family. So my goal and my hope is that those who attend this event at the end of this month, that they leave truly informed. And so that's what I'm hoping for them. And I'm looking forward to just bringing information about being structured properly, not only within your family, but within your business, so that we can make the proper investments and secure them for generations. And so I want to quickly to use this opportunity to say, since it's Black Love Day tomorrow, designated tomorrow Black Love Day, shout out to the visionary of my family. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be submitted to you. I say all the time, you are the visionary and I work logistics. And so we make things happen for our family. And so just shout out to all of the visionaries and all of those who work logistics on this Black Love Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, happy Valentine's, guys. And I'm excited for the event. First, we was waiting to buy the tickets because we're going to Brazil, but we push our trip to March. So we're going to be there, excited to see you guys, to meet you guys in person, and to learn more. And yeah, I hope everybody be interested and comfortable and for the help and for the information. I'm sure it's going to be.
Yeah, you were kind of going in and out for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last part.
I was breaking up my voice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I say like the information will be available, so I hope everybody come like thirsty and be coachable, like thirsty to learn. Because I know the event is gonna be awesome, so I'm just excited about it and to meet you guys in person.
Yes, yes, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would say for me, just because now we live in this age of like online and like social media, I like the actual aspect of like people actually getting out and like touching the people in person. So the fact that it's like an actual like live event, I mean, I would like this to be like multiple cities. I think that that's what you guys are doing. But I think that that's like a lost art now where everybody does things where they just post their class online. And I think there's still like uh a value in actually like face-to-face interaction. So that's kind of what I'm excited for the event.
Yeah, we missed that last part, but say that last line again.
Together.
I just think there's a value still to like face-to-face
Yeah,
interaction.
okay.
And yeah,
There's a value to
just
in-person.
being able to like, yeah, in person as opposed to like everything kind of like been moving online in the past couple years. So I feel like just reestablishing that like that connection in person is important.
Yeah, I can appreciate live events as well. So I think
And
you're
I think for me, I'm looking forward to the event because education is just so key and it's important. And when you think back, I'm going to say 20, 30 years ago, a lot of this we didn't have. And there's so many things out there, and just all of us coming together collectively. We get to hear all about the B1 experience and just what all the panelists have to say and just walk away with more knowledge than we walked in the door with. And I'm just looking forward to it.
Yes.
And I would say some of the reasons to come out, there's over 12 impactful experts in their specific area. So when we have the discussion on investing, we call him Jimmy Baby Buffett Williams is going to be talking about stocks, precious metals, crypto, any type of investment vehicle possible. We have someone who's called the mortgage goddess, any type of commercial mortgage platform that you're interested in. We just have so many professionals in history. So a gentleman who is the director of social studies for the school district. So the panelists are going to be incredible. Not only that, we are bridging the history in Philadelphia with the Dr. Reverend Leon H. Sullivan and all that he has done. So we have, I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors. Our very first sponsor, Eatable Delights Catering, Black-owned catering business, 25-year history in the city of Philadelphia. And actually the owner, David Sims, is a partner in the investment group. So he's the first one that stepped up to be a sponsor. I want to give a shout out to Leon Sullivan Charitable Trust because they've stepped up to be a sponsor. I want to give a shout out to Progress Plaza. That's the first Black-owned commercial shopping district in the country, not just Philadelphia, in the country. So they've stepped up to be a sponsor. Also, to another organization out of the Leon Sullivan family is Progress Investments. So they have stepped up to be a sponsor. So we have some great folks. Again, the bridge of the history to now. And from the Leon H. Sullivan Charitable Trust, their board chair, Miss Mabel Wellborn, who was a young adult writing the corporate papers, the bond, the stock certificates for Leon Sullivan. She is now the board chair. She's going to be present on Saturday doing a presentation. So it's going to be a phenomenal event for people to come out and experience and grow. Folks, we have the 2053 to correct this, and we can't wait to 2053. There's things that have to be done in 2024, 2025, all the way down. So when 2053 comes, we're chilling, we own stuff, and we keep it moving. So those are the reasons why I think you should come on out. to the Philadelphia premiere to the B1 movie.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So as you can see, man, it's going to be an all-star cast. It's going to be a great conversation. Some of the people that are featured in the film is Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Claude Anderson, Nuri Muhammad. I was watching a video earlier this morning, I think it was this morning, where Nuri Muhammad was talking about the billions of dollars that we spend on living expenses, the billions of dollars that we spend on the cars that we drive, the billions of dollars that we spend on our clothes, the billions of dollars that we spend to make our hair look good, and the hundreds of millions of dollars that we spend reading books. I think it was like 300 million that we invest in reading books. Everything else was billions, billions, billions. So the exterior is looking good, but what about the inside? So I invite you to make an investment in yourself so that you can ensure that you're equipped with the knowledge, the information, the resources, the contacts, the network, which is so valuable, that's going to help your family grow and flourish. You know what I'm saying? So make an investment in you and your family and be at the B1 experience on February 23rd and 24th. Just name some of those people that's going to be there again. Joel, I mean, it's an all-star. Isha is there.
Yeah, Andrea Lawful Sanders from, she's one of the, just a huge radio personality, WURD radio. She's going to be there. Vince Better, who is from the tech world. He's also vice president IB Big. He's going to be on the panel. Bigger Dre, who is a hip hop artist coming out of Philadelphia. He makes conscious music. He's going to be present. We have Raymond Taylor. Raymond Taylor is out of the Atlantic City area. He's on multiple radio stations. Plus, he's a DJ, spoken word artist, and an activist, community activist. He's going to be there. Stephanie Renee, she's the CEO of the Soul Sanctuary. She's going to be there. It's just an incredible. Malik Coach Carter, straight out of Southwest Philly, flipping houses, getting paid. He's going to be there on a panel. It's going to be an incredible time. And I can't forget one of our sponsors, Liberty Tax Franchise Philadelphia is a Black-owned franchisee. They have 6 offices through Philadelphia, and they are one of the sponsors to this event.
Can't forget that.
Awesome. So look, I don't know about y'all, but I feel full. I feel inspired. I feel motivated. Looking forward to be there. Dr. Rick and Isha Mathis will be in the building along with these lovely couples. And we're talking about, leaving generational wealth for the next group, the next generation to come, man. So again, check that information, the comments, the ticket information in the comment section, and get your tickets right now. Matter of fact, bring the entire family. One thing that you didn't speak on was the area that you have for the kids, because this is a family event.
Yes.
There is a special section that we have for the kids.
Yes, there's going to be an esports and gaming area. It's going to be a STEM workshop free, so that you have kids who are from kindergarten through 8th grade, so that they can have something to do while you're sitting in. And I will say, if your kids are 7th, 8th grade and they're mature, they can set in and listen to the information. If you bring young folks who are in high school, we're going to set them with the adults, because this is information that they should be learning and can learn in high school. When I was 12 or 13, my father gave me 7 shares of Comcast stock because of a business deal that he was involved in. And that's piqued my interest. I opened up a Charles Schwab account, and I was trading stocks while I was still in high school. So you are never too young to get started. So again, if you have young folks, and that area is being run by Tech Core 2 nonprofit corporation, which is a tech STEM-based training program right in Philadelphia.
Awesome, man. So I'm looking forward. So I'm going to ensure that we take this video and we repurpose it with 30 to 60-second segments so that this could be information that's circulating on the internet tomorrow on Black Love Day, because it's important that we see each other loving on each other and as couple, because the media is trying to paint a different picture. And it's up to us to combat that narrative and paint and project the narrative that we want to put out there. So I'm going to chop this up right now when we finish so that we can have these segments floating tomorrow on Black Love Day. So with that, if there isn't any more comments, we can close out. And I thank each and every one of you for your time. Look forward to meeting you personally, and just excited about being there in Philadelphia next week.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.